friends, I am standing here as one of the oldest past students of painting. For me, passing away of Manisha is a personal loss. My co-student Naina Dalal, who is the oldest Baroda-born girl student of painting, also joins me in expressing the same sentiments regarding Manisha. Incidentally, I have always addressed him as Manisha. Actually, in the early days of the faculty, most of us did not know the meaning of the word Sar. And word Sar stood for respectfulness. I would like to mention a sentimental coincidence. I joined the Faculty of Fine Arts in June 1951, and found that ours was the second batch to be admitted. Manisha had just joined in the same month and year as lecturer in painting. He was lean and wore white khaki kurta pajama and often smoked standing alone in a kind of awkward Tribanga posture. His youthfulness naturally impressed us young undergraduates. He would be 20 years of age, while Bendre Saab, who was head of the painting department, was in his early 40s. Having arrived from Kashmir as a boy of 15 years of age, I was completely raw. All I knew was how to do an object drawing, which I had learnt in the missionary school as one of my subjects. I had not even heard of such names as Ajanta caves, nor did I know what is Shantiniketan, from where Manisha had received his art training. Manisha is one of the main 3 or 4 teachers from whom I learned ABCD of art, which I shall always cherish. Manisha would be often with us in the life study classes. For us degree students, he took lectures on cultural history of Europe. When I heard him speak in English, I felt proud of being able to converse with him in English language. The lectures on paintings and sculptures were taken up by the then Dean, Professor Markand Bhatt, under the heading Plastic Values of Art. These lectures made me aware of the whole world of writings on art, relating it to cultural history and aesthetical theorization. However, in those early years, Manisha was also much involved in mural practice and techniques. He supervised our classes in traditional miniature painting and in making small-scale mural slabs. But to watch him standing on bamboo scaffolding, and work on a mural on one of the walls of the studio buildings as work was in progress was so thrilling and inspiring. As we moved on to 3rd year and 4th year, the most memorable are the informal classes and diagrammatical demonstrations with which he explained elements of pictorial composition, so lucidly explained. I now realize that the secret of his art lies in what you do with the spaces within the frames and sections. In 1956, when I was in 1st year of MA Creative Painting, I had the good fortune of discussing with Manisha my thesis topic on the use of line in painting, which was incidentally the first thesis in MA Creative Painting batch. Soon Manisha left for Mumbai to join as head of Lever Service Center, with which began his close association with India's textiles and handicrafts. By 1960, he was back in painting department and became its head in 1965 when Bendre Saab retired. Manisha's painting activity definitely became richer after his stays in England and US. I had already been selected as lecturer in art history and aesthetics when I left for London in 1960 to specialize in art history under the Commonwealth Scholarship. Since 1963, I was back in Baroda and had the good fortune to be Mani Saab's colleague and subsequently fellow head of the department. I was selected head of art history and aesthetic department in 1966. The period of Mani Saab's headship of painting department and the years when he was the dean of the faculty, 1968-74, are crucial years in Mani Saab's career and in the history of the faculty. Some great series of terracotta murals, paintings, children's illustrations, three-dimensional toys were created by Mani Saab, and we could witness the unfolding and growth of his genius. It was during this period that I had the responsibility to reorganize teaching of art history in aesthetics courses and to formulate bachelor's and master's degree programs. Mani Saab condescendingly gave me necessary intellectual and procedural support. I had difficult moments of how to deal with former teacher and dean when after Mani Saab's term as dean was over and I was selected as dean by the university authorities in 1975. I had again to be the witness of the unhappy occasion of his departure to Shantiniketan when reluctantly he organized a formal farewell in 1980. At that juncture, he did the much talked about set of glass paintings. His stay in Shantiniketan, his alma mater, was so very fruitful, and the works done there are the subjects of many books and films. Through his profound and prolific creative work, he grew in stature and has secured a firm place in the same exalted pantheon of his Shantiniketan mentors, Nanda Bose, Vinod Nahari Mukherjee, and Ram Tinka. Since last 15 years, Mani Saab's decision to make Baroda his home is so unbelievable. A man who continued to grow in versatile directions and exemplified what is called genius, so far as creators of art are concerned, was present among us in flesh and blood. He has been consciously and unconsciously, for most of us, a great inspirational source. In the phenomenon of modern Indian art, conceptually, revolution and innovation are often loud slogans, so much so that some great modernist is so because he is an iconoclast. More and more we can observe how much Mani Saab had absorbed a lot of characteristic and interesting elements from Sanchi relief sculptures, Indian miniature paintings, and Kerala mural tradition. It is such intuitive absorption of Indian indigenous heritage which is amazing, without being a grassroots person, but rather a personality formed out of an amalgam of sophisticated intellectual pursuits. Happily, Mani Saab has received ample recognition of his genius. He also had opportunities to work on great pictorial projects. We not only pray, but we are sure his soul will rest in peace. This is my tribute to my Guru and a great artist of India who embodied in him Kerala, Bengal, and Gujarat.